please take note of that. And this will mark then the beginning of the course. What are we looking at throughout this course, the 8-hour course? We will be looking, I'll talk to you shortly now about the resources that are needed, and then I'll give some advice on those resources, and we will look at course outcomes and definitely go into those outcomes bit by bit. So, as I said, it is important that you will own a piano or a keyboard. They come in different sizes, all right? I will talk about the sizes just in the next slide. If you do not have one yet, do not give up, do not be discouraged by that. At least then try and make means have access to one. What other people have done is within their tablets, they've downloaded a piano app. Some have even bought melodicas, which are cheaper. There are second-hand keyboards, and then there are music centers in some communities which give you access to instruments. Some people stay in residential areas which have a piano. So just try and make sure that at least you have access so that you can practice on a regular basis. We have spoken about time, and we are doing this online. We are all gathered here from different places, so online makes much sense. So having a regular internet access will help that. And I would also suggest you have a music book so that you're able to write down some of the theoretical concepts, and a file for practical, that is the songs. We're gonna learn how to read music, by the way, and in music we use pencil, we don't use a pen, and so those are some of the stationery that you may find useful across the journey. So pianos come in different sizes, as I said, or keyboards. You can have an 88, one with 88 keys. In other words, this gives you 7 octaves. It is the real deal. This is what a standard piano will have. And then there are digital pianos, of course, which basically mean they rely on electricity. They have to be powered in order to produce sound. But then you get your natural piano, which does not need to be plugged in or anything of that form. So here, if once you get to a stage where you have played the piano and you compare it with a keyboard, you will realize that there is a huge difference between having a full-scale piano and a half-scale piano. I do see the hands. Allow me to just finish and note your question, and then I will get to that later on when I'm done with the recording. Then we have 6 octaves, which comes with the 76 keys piano. This one does give you the feel of a full piano. It's just that obviously you are 1 octave short, and then it is portable. Some musicians prefer it because they can travel with it and they still have that feel of a full-scale piano. Then you have 61 keys, which just gives you 5 octaves. There's one which is popular, but then if you enjoy playing low notes, then it does not really give you that, and the high-end notes, it does not really give you that. But it is also very convenient, if you are someone who travels a lot and you still want to keep up with practicing and so forth. The one which is very, very common, most beginners go for this one, is the one with 49 keys, which just has 4 octaves. And then it is, as you can see, they're basic for learning. It is good for a start, and it is very portable as well. And then you also have 2 octaves. This one usually is used by music producers. So it is not for us. For us in this course, a 2 octave piano is not really an option. You want to start from 49 keys. Now, if you are not sure whether you want to do this or not, I'd suggest you get a cheaper piano, right? So that you don't find yourself wasting money, only to have a piano that's going to be in your house and gather dust, and then you have to sell it later on. So make sure, in as much as you're going to buy a cheaper one, but it has to be a reliable brand, a reputable brand. I go with the Yamaha in any given day. And then, yeah, make sure it is big enough to play with both hands. Now you understand why we will not just take 2 octaves, but I suggest we start with 49 keys. Some musicians are very sensitive to the touch and the feel of the keys. For example, most keyboards, their keys are made of plastic, so that does not really give you that feel where you can control sound with how you touch the keys, right? And then I'd also like to emphasize this. I've seen pianos that have developed sticky keys, and you look into it, there's eating and drinking around it and all that. I'd just like to say to you, please love your instrument, protect it as much as you protect your cell phone or the one thing most precious to it. Don't leave it exposed to dust. There are keyboard covers. But if you don't want to spend money buying a keyboard cover, then you can simply use a towel or maybe a blanket to cover up the keys. The main thing is you are protected from dust, you are protected from anything that may potentially damage the instruments, okay? And then if you are using an electrical instrument, again, it goes without saying, especially if you live in South Africa where there's load shedding and so forth, you want to keep it unplugged when you are not using it, especially if it's going to be for a prolonged period. Maybe your practice session is 30 minutes. Once you're done with your 30 minutes, it's just good and you're not going to get back to it. You might as well just unplug it and protect it from any power surges. Now, at the end of this course, you should be able to do the following. So you would know that you have actually benefited from the course if you are able to do the following. Number one, if you are able to read and play a scale, I will talk about a scale and what a scale is and arpeggios from memory. If you know the composition of a major scale, then you have achieved something. You should be able to locate all notes on your piano, on the piano. You have to know middle C on the piano. I will tell you why it is important to know middle C. And then you should also be able to understand basic dynamics, such as forte, piano, and the difference between playing staccato and legato. You also know and understand the note values and time signatures that are used in music. But for a start, you will only focus on crotchets and minims. And finally, you should be able to play a song from a music sheet. I will guide you through this. So as you can see, these outcomes cannot be attained in one day, but I can assure you by Friday, at the end of this week, you would be in a state where you have achieved all of them. Just make sure you are consistent in attending and you are also consistent in completing the exercises. Right. Let us start with some basics, all right? So in music, we use 7 letters, right? Letters of the alphabet. So alphabets, we know we go A, B, C up to Z. But in music, we only go up to G. This gives you a set of 7 letters that we use, right? And so on the piano, as I'll show you later on, you will see that the letters go in a form of a cycle, okay? And these letters are what we refer to as notes. So when I say play this note, obviously then you need to know the name of the note and you need to know, okay, where on the piano do I find this note? And then generally Western music will talk to you about 12 keys that are there, more on this later on. But yeah, in essence, what we will do in this initial course, we will only talk about one key, all right? We're gonna talk about one key, the most basic key, but I can assure you, if you understand what goes on in this key, you should be able to translate that into another key. And then, yes, another important thing, each note produces a unique sound. So it is very important that as you practice, try and actually memorize these sounds. This is very important for those who would like to play by the ear. That is, you want to play a song without having a music sheet. Right, let's get straight into it. So what I have here is a full-scale piano. That is what you are seeing. And that is my piano here, the digital piano that I have. However, if you have a 49 or a 6176, that is not a big deal. You should still be able to follow through. If you want to know, in principle, how to locate the notes, then I've put up a few things here. The key C is usually referred to as the key which is to the left. It's a white key, by the way. It is to the left of the two black keys. You will realize something about the piano, and I suppose this is what makes it relatively easy to learn. There is a clear pattern here. There's a clear pattern. I hope you do see that. For example, you do see there are black and white keys. The black keys are in groups of 3s and 2s. That kind of thing. So when we locate the naturals, that is all the white keys, we will actually make reference to the black keys because the pattern of the black keys stands out to any person. So C is to the left of the two black keys, and you can see I've put down those letters there as well. And then let us just go back to our logic of alphabets. The letter that comes after C is D. Right? And so D is between the two black keys. The letter that comes after D is E. So E is to the right of the two black keys. After E, we have F. And so F is to the left of the three black keys. G is between the first two of the three black keys. I hope that's not complicated. Now check this. I said we run from A to G in music. So after G, we actually go back to A. And that is exactly what is happening in the piano. So though it may have too many keys, that should not be overwhelming because all you have to know is to know 7 keys and know that the rest is a repetition, So the keys repeat over different pitches or frequencies. In essence, so the low pitch, the low notes will sound lower, the high ones will sound very higher. There are those obviously that will be around the natural pitch of a human voice. All right, so that is that. So don't stress about having to know all these things. Okay, two black keys, one and all that. No, all you can do is just know how to locate your one note. And in this case, as I said, I'm going to talk about middle C. You will see, if you know your middle C, you have actually divided your piano into 2, okay? The higher range voices, which are usually the female voices, and the low range voices, which are usually the male voices. So if you can know one note, you are done. You are done basically. No, you can choose from all these definitions that I've put, whether you want to invest in C or D or E or F or G, A or B, it's really up to you. Once you have masked up one note, you can always find other notes with a reference to the one note that you know. More on this later. You will realize I'm deliberately leaving out the black keys now. I will talk about them shortly. Okay, now, this is one important concept that you need to understand as a piano player. Even musicians, actually, in music theory, this is being discussed a lot because it is very fundamental to understanding scales. And if you want to know what a scale is, I'll just put it this way. All songs are written in a scale or using a scale as a framework. And so in a scale is mainly comprised of tones and semitones, right? Or sometimes we have a scale that is strictly semitones. We call that the chromatic scale. We'll talk about it later during this week. And you have a whole tone scale also, which is just tones. But these are important concepts that you need to note if you are to follow through. So please make sure that you do not forget this one. I will now and then use the word tone and the word semitone. So please know what I mean by that. I have given you visuals here so that you know what a tone is in terms of the piano. So let us start with the semitone, which is also sometimes referred to as a half step. In the context of a piano, a semitone simply means you are playing 2 notes or 2 keys. You are pressing 2 keys such that there is no key in between. All right, as you can see here, I've got a semitone because this is a semitone here. Why? Because there is no key between that white key and that black key. So that's a semitone. But that is not the only case where we have a semitone. You can also have a semitone between two white keys. And if you study your piano carefully, you would see that semitones between white keys exist between the letters E and F, as well as the letters B and C. All right. And then obviously between any black and white key, not all of them though, there is also a semitone. And so that is that when it comes to a tone, that means there has to be a key in between. All right. And there has to be a key in between. Now, what do we see here? As you can see, well, another name for a tone is whole step. So between these two white keys, there is a black key. So that's why I've got a tone there. But that's not the only case where you can have a tone. Take note that between this black key here and that white key here, there is a white key there. So that constitutes a tone. I want you to also take note of this relation here of a tone. Again, what you have two black keys. There is a white key in between. So that also constitutes a tone. This is very important. Once again, I cannot stress enough how it is critical for you to understand this concept, because from now onwards, when I talk about scales and even chords later on, you will realize that you need to understand the semitone and the tone concept. It's one of the keywords. These are rather keywords that are used in music. So please make sure you master that. All right, now let's get to the black keys. Right. So in music, there's what we call accidentals, right? So a sharp, a flat, these are our accidentals. Now, a sharp, by definition, what it does is it raises a note by a half step. What is a half step? Again, it's a semitone. But when it does that, it does that to the right. And I'm going to give you an illustration here. Let me just do this. I hope I can get this here. So that we all on board with what is happening. So this is the concept. I'm going to play the note C. That is the note C, right? Now, this is what a sharp does. A sharp raises. Okay, maybe C would be a better idea in this case. Let me take D. Let me take D. So that's D, it's a natural key. So if I play a sharp, it raises the note, okay? I hope you can hear how the raise happens, but maybe to make it simpler, look at this. I'm going to play a flat. A flat will lower by a semitone to the left. Those are the two distinct sounds. A sharp raises and a flat lowers, right? So that is very important. A natural will return a note to its natural position in a given key. So if I played an E flat and I want an E natural, a natural will remain. But then if I played E flat and I want a D natural then would mean I am lowering. So to make it very simple, since we are beginners, we will refer to the black keys as sharps or flats, and then all white keys as naturals. All right. So if you missed it, just think of it that way. Black keys are sharps or flats, and then all white keys are naturals. Right. This is another important concept to note as we go along our journey. Right. Now, how do we locate middle C? How do we locate middle C on piano? Well, usually your piano is branded, right? Is branded. So what often happens as a standard is that the C which is closest to the name of your brand actually turns out to be the middle C. It has a very unique sound. It has a very unique sound such that what music developers do. The guys who actually build music instruments, they make reference to this when they build their instruments. And even musicians, when we have to play in a band, having brass, that is trumpets, trombones, and then clarinets and all of which are transposing instruments. We make reference to a particular note to make sure that we are all singing in tune, in the same the same sound. There's no discord and that kind of a thing. So middle C is quite important. Later on, you will see its significance when I show you how to read music. You will see that its significance there. So please make sure that if you do have a piano, make sure that you can actually locate middle C. You can locate middle C and know where it is. Once you know where it is, I promise you, your music reading will be very much peaceful and easy. Now, to start with, those who play brass will tell you that not the posture, but the strength of their lip muscles is very important, because that is what they need to produce sound. Okay, trumpet players, trombone players will tell you some of them are actually careful, such that if they have gotten their lips in the correct posture and texture rather, then they will not want to mess around and play any other instrument, any other mouth instrument, especially if they're gonna go for a performance and all that. Now, for us as piano players, our hands, our fingers are the most important tools that we need to produce sound. We need them, which means we need to take care of them. So one of the things that we're gonna do, and this is your main task for today, we're gonna build strength. We're gonna strengthen our fingers, and I'd like you to do this continually every day. This is your starting point. Before you play any song, before you play any scale, before you do anything else, I would like you to actually start with this finger exercise. I'm gonna do an illustration shortly. So please make sure that you follow through each and every little thing that I am going to show you as far as these finger exercises are concerned. And I want to show you also that through these finger exercises, actually, there are songs that are embedded. You can actually play songs. There are songs hidden within these finger exercises. But for now, so that we don't break, we don't want to break our fingers. We also don't want to trash our spirits and think that we cannot do this. We're going to start nice and slow with this. So number one, I want you to look at your left and right hand. All right. Position them in the way that I have put them in this diagram. And I want you to internalize this. All right. Your thumbs, you will refer to that as one. So when I say one, I'm referring to thumbs both on the left and on the right. When I say two, I'm referring to your index finger. 3 is the middle finger, and 4 is the ring finger, and 5 is the pinky, the smallest finger there. So it's not the other. For both hands, that is the principle. All right. Number 1, that is your thumbs. Okay. Number 2, that's the index. 3 is the middle. 4 is the ring finger, and 5 is the smallest finger. As I said, we are building, right? So we don't want to crash. We will take it nice, slow, and easy. So I'm gonna bring my piano here, and I'm gonna show up my piano so that you all follow with what I'm going to do here. Please take care of your fingers. Don't do any strenuous exercises. We want them to be strong. Let me tell you, the secret to speed on the piano is in the strength of your fingers. If you take care of those muscles, please don't strain them, don't stretch them, don't do anything funny with them. Just look after them so that you build strength for later on. All right. So That's my piano. And I'm going to start with the right hand. Oh, by the way, that's another important thing. All right. So I'm going to start with the right hand. And if you have a bigger screen, then this is what you can do. You can actually take camera 1 and enlarge it. And then you have the 2 screens available, because I've got camera 1 to show you how I'm actually positioning my hand on the piano, and this is my right hand. And then the screen here will also show you the notes that I'm pressing. So I have my middle C, and I hope you can see how I've positioned my hand. It is quite flat, that is quite important, and only the fingers are bending. All right, that is another important principle that you need to adopt as a piano player. All right, so here's C, that is C, and as you can see, I am pressing C, that is D, that is E, that is F, that is G. So that's the 5 fingers there I am pressing at the moment. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. I want you to try this, okay? For now, just watch and observe. I will put this on YouTube later on. Here's your first exercise. Separate hands. Don't try and play with both hands. Just separate hands. You're gonna do this for me. Your first assignment. All right? You're gonna play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's a melody there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just that. And if this is too fast, then take it slow. There's nothing wrong with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's your first exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You do it with your right hand. And make sure that your wrist actually is quite straight on the same line as your palm there, so that if I were to put a hot cup of coffee, it will not spill. Just make sure that do the same thing with your left hand. All right, your left hand, please take note. Your 1, that is the thumb, is on G. Okay, and then 2, that is the index finger, is on F. And then the middle finger is on E, and then the ring finger is on D, and the pinky is on C. So it's kind of the opposite. Then you're gonna do that again. Hold that ball, or imagine that hot cup of coffee. You don't want it to spill, so you gotta maintain that position. All that will move is your fingers. All right. So that's how the sound goes. 1, 2. So that's how that one goes. Now, if we were to combine this, and by the way, we will do this one later on. If we were to combine these sounds, I want you to listen to this. Only when you have built full strength, all right? Then we will play. That's what will come on later. And if you think you're gonna catch this quite quick today and you don't wanna get bored, then I've got a second exercise for you. From 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then we're gonna do this one. We're gonna do this one. 1, 3, 5, 1, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 3, 5. So we're gonna go 1. We're gonna do that one. So once we have mastered this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I want you to try 1, 3, 5. 1, 3, 5, 3. That's C, E, G, E, C, E, G, E, C. All right, that's that. You're gonna have that. And then guess what? You do the same thing with your left hand. Separate hands. Don't play with both hands as yet. I want you to try that as well. Then, once you've done that and you are happy with that, and you feel like you want another challenge, then we're gonna do the 2 and 4, 2, 4. So 2, 4 will go like this. Or on the left hand. And later on, you will join both hands. That's what you will do. And then what else can we try then? Oh, we can try another fun one. This one again, I'll throw it in for those of you who enjoy challenges. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. And then 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, and then 3, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, and 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. What you are doing with this one, you're just going up with 3 notes, and then once you are done, you come down. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, then 2, 1. Then I'm gonna go 2, 3, 4, 3, 2. Then I'm 3, 4, 5, 4, 3. And obviously, what you do on the right, you will also do on the right. I mean, on the left. And 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, and 2, 4, 3, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 2, something like that. All right. These notes are powerful. These notes are powerful. I don't know how many of you know the song or When the Saints, but I'll illustrate to you the power behind these notes. They are not just a random finger exercise, but there's a song here actually that you can play. Let me just do this to awaken your interest so that you take it to heart. Check this. When the Saints. Did you see that? I just played those 5 notes again, nothing else. We haven't added anything strange there. So we are building, And so please, this will now becomes your first homework exercise for today. Then we're gonna go homework assignment number 1. Please make sure that you go to your instrument, you locate all the notes, that is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then you can also learn about the sharps and the flats there. Find middle C. Why? Because that's where your finger exercise will start, and then the left hand will start on the G, just below the middle C. Do those exercises with separate hands. Don't try combine them. We are building a foundation. We don't want you to break. If anything, we want to encourage you and make this thing an easy, smooth journey as much as possible. This lesson will be uploaded on YouTube. The channel name is the Maths and Music Classroom. If you are not sure, that is the emblem that you should look for. Otherwise, you can send us a WhatsApp text on 0732488806. We will give you a link to the channel and possibly answer questions which you may have as you are practicing. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of today's session. I look forward to seeing you in the next session where you would have practiced. And what are we doing in the next section? Just a snippet. We're going to do a bit of some note values, but not only that. Tomorrow, you're gonna learn how to read music for the very first time. All right, so that's about